Crazy, 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 crazy,
A very
crazy.
good morning and welcome to UNSA Hot Seat here on UNC TV, where we're giving you in-depth conversations concerning the student leadership for the year 2024-2025. Last week we had the staff commissioner from the Independent Electoral Commission, and we also had a student from the Faculty of Engineering, just having the conversations regarding elections, regarding student leadership. And from the interview we had last week, just some key takeaways I got from them personally as also a student is that they're really trying to get more voter turnout when it comes to the elections, and just a call to action to each and every single student. Please let us make sure that our logins and our portal logins are working so that when we reach the election date we will be able to vote. And remember, your vote is your voice. And here today on UNSA Hot Seat we'll be speaking to the main campus governor, that is Bernard Ojiambo. He's here with me on my closer left, and also from the Faculty of Arts we have a student from the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, that is Lloyd Kamau, and my name is John Omahe, and welcome to UNSA Hot Seat. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Nahisi aje, today's weather is a bit,
It's chilly.
it's
It is
very,
chill,
very chilly.
but we're on the hot seat, so we
Yeah,
have
we're
to
actually on the hot
yeah,
seat.
in the heat for sure.
Anyway, elections are just a couple of days away.
Yeah.
Bernard, I just want you to take us back to a time like this last year.
Yes.
What were you doing? How were you feeling? What was the atmosphere like for you? Because back then you were still an aspiring candidate.
Yeah.
How was it?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. My name is Bernard Ojambo, and I'm thankful or glad to have served the largest faculty in this institution, that is main campus. A time like this last year, I was now in the position of the aspirants, and by now myself, I had already been cleared, and we were in our campaign. This is the last week, and this is a week of campaigns. The process that is really difficult during this time is the clearance process. There's much need or demand when it comes to meeting the threshold set by the commission on clearing the team names and the team members. A time like this, I think main campus we had already cleared 4 teams on the ballot. So we were out for campaigns, which is different from now, where there are some teams, a number of teams, a large percentage has not been cleared, though the campaign period is already rolled out. Yeah.
Okay, last week we were speaking with the staff commissioner from the Independent Electoral Commission,
Yes.
and we were really asking from the point of view of a commissioner, maybe some of the loopholes or maybe issues he was seeing within the electoral system. But now I want to pose that question to you as someone who has gone through the process. You are aspiring. I'm also sure that a couple of years back you were able to vote also.
Yes.
As an aspirant and also as a student yourself who has voted using the same process and the same structure, what are maybe some of the issues you've seen all throughout in the different categories, and as an aspirant and also as a student who is voting?
Yes, I think what is coming out different from what we had before is also especially on the platform we are using, the e-ballot, is that right now you must now get, once you log in, you must have a code to confirm, sent to your email, to confirm it's exactly you who is voting, which was very different from what we had before, where you could just log in and vote without the code. I think this has made sure that it's only the person who can make the voting. There'll be no voting for another person
Malpractice,
or such things happening. And we appreciate the commission for considering that, but because previously had some complaints where you log in and find maybe you've been voted for and you're not aware. Right now it has made even the aspirants to be more on campaigns than before, because you need to face the person, your constituents or your voters, one-on-one before they can make the voting.
So I want to throw the same question to our gentleman on the far left. That's Lloyd from the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication.
Yes.
Lloyd, do you also share the sentiments from Bernard?
My issue would be last year, a time like this, we were supposed to vote. And I think I'm speaking for most students when I say we don't get to understand who we are voting for, because we don't get even to get to know what they plan to do for us as students, because most of them get into those offices with an aim of putting certain people in offices, or maybe getting their own personal benefits. Because if I'm voting for you, I need to understand why I'm voting for you. What are you bringing to the table for me as a student? So yes, you'll get nominated and you will pass. But why should I vote for you? I don't understand as a student of the University of Nairobi, because what benefit are you bringing to my life? If maybe I am a needy student, if I am among the people who are marginalized among the community, if I am maybe I'm disabled, how are you helping me? How is your manifesto and your group and your team coming to benefit me as a student? Because yes, the council is doing a good thing by sending us notifications to our emails and giving us a very transparent system where we know these are the people who have qualified and these are the teams you can vote for. But just getting to know a team doesn't give me the confidence to vote for you. Yeah.
So that's some very worthy sentiments there from Lloyd. Remember, you can join the conversation on our social media platforms. That's UNCTVKE on Instagram and also on X, and use the hashtag UNSA Hot Seat. And I just want to hop into the topic of the day, and you being one of our panelists, and you also being the governor from main campus. You are in charge of a campus that's majorly on arts and social sciences. And arts and social sciences are not really a topic that is, favored as compared to STEM. They're seen as a lesser priority or a lesser career or a lesser path. How have you been able to maybe champion for the importance of arts and social sciences when it comes to maybe development and also anything concerning the university?
Myself, I don't consider arts as a lesser program. Because at the end of the day, right now, most of the people working in different corporates, they didn't do exactly what they are doing at the moment outside. It's about what you acquire from what you are learning, not about now the degree program you are taking. Right now, outside, there are no jobs. There are no opportunities, but how to be, if your degree can help you to be more creative, or if your degree can make you be more innovative, it will assist you more than a person who is in STEM, as you say. So we encourage our students not to be discouraged by any person, because they are doing arts, and we have chances as art students. And even in the Big Five agenda of the Chancellor that he rolled out when he was in Kenya some time back, we requested him that also our art students may be included in this, so that we are not considered as a lesser program as of the STEM programs.
Okay. But now you've talked about there not being any jobs in the job market.
Yes.
But now, are you as the main campus governor, are there any initiatives you've undertaken, maybe to with external partners to partner with the faculty to maybe enable internships opportunities for students, or maybe even job opportunities?
Yes.
Have you had such initiatives being implemented?
In my manifesto, when I was vying, my third manifesto was on professional development. That mainly touched on making sure that we make the life or the transition between university and outside very easy. But through making sure that the time we are here as leaders, we're able to do as many events as possible. And in the events, we are incorporating the corporate society. We're also inviting companies to come and partner with us. And through partnering with us, there are so many things that has been happening. And most of our students, through the companies we've done events with, or that we've partnered with, they have accommodated a number of us. Most of the fourth years that I'm in their classes, they have been able to get attachments, they have been able, or they have promised to get internships after school.
Could you maybe give us some of the partners that you're talking
We've worked
about?
with Techno, we've worked with the Infinix, we've worked with the corporates like Grow with Reni, that's a Nigerian company. A number of them that we've done events. I've done more than 10 events outside the UNSA budget. That it's through those companies that facilitated everything, and they were interested. I think main campus is situated in a good place where we have chances more than the other campuses, and it has really helped us.
Lloyd, as a member of main campus, have you felt the effect of the events he's talking about? Because he's really mentioned some big brands. So have you felt the effect when it comes to these opportunities?
Now, the brands have been mentioned for sure. And the main campus, if you are a student here, you know that we have more events in this institution. Shandare is always hosting events.
Yeah.
But yes, the partners are coming. But my question to you would be, how do you know that they're actually giving back to us? Because do you actually have the data of the students who have been given either attachments, internships, who is benefiting? Because it's one thing to say that we will help you, we will give students, you're also giving them a platform to market themselves by coming to this school. So you should also be accountable enough to tell them, by the way, this is what we want from you guys. We'll give you this venue. We'll give you access to the students of the University of Nairobi. But we also want you to give a certain number of students attachments. We want you to give students of BCom this number of internships. We want you to give the students of journalism and mass communication a chance to try social media in your organization, because it doesn't make sense for them to come here and we give them the facilities and the access, but the numbers are not adding up, because we can't actually count and say that and that and that and so and so and so is a techno because of this. So on your end as leaders, I feel like you should be more accountable in terms of be serious and tell them, yes, you're a company and you want the venue, but we also want this for our students. So it's give and take.
Okay. I just want to, there's a question you've posed, and I really want to direct it to Bernard. Is there maybe adequate, should I call it adequate, but is there data on the statistics of the number of students who have been able to benefit from these initiatives, from Techno, Huawei, all those brands that you've been able to mention?
You see, this is an institution, and it has also its management, top management. Apart from the UNSA, we have the Dean of Students, we have the corporate office. Any event I'm doing, or any brand I come with in this institution, they must be, as far as we are helping them, giving them venue, giving them audience, they must give again back to the university. What we ask them, what do you have for the university? What do you have for our students? Every time I organize an event, it goes through the Dean of Students, who asks now, what do you have for our students? How do you assist the university now that we are giving you all this platform? So the company must be having something substantial to school before we allow them in. And also the corporate unit also asks the same question. So this thing is what we are giving out is accountable. We can account for it through the office of the Dean of Students, because anything I do is through the Dean of Students. I can't do anything outside that, because it's an institution. I have to follow also the regulations. And
So-
the Dean of
so we-
Students has a number of students. He's the contact person between the admin and the students. He must be having those records. And if you go to him, he'll tell you, this company has done this to students, this company has done this to school. So the record is there.
Sawa. And leadership in itself comes with a lot of expectations and scrutiny. So I really want to understand, maybe what are some of the challenges you've maybe unexpected challenges that you faced during your time as the governor?
Of course, at the end of the day, students expect a lot. Once they vote you in, you have to deliver. And especially this campus, now that it has a larger number of students, it becomes a challenge that you can't reach everyone unless those that are well positioned or that are more politically vibrant are the ones that are mostly or are the ones that feel our leadership. Um, some of the challenges we've had, we thought this thing will be, the leadership will be easy in terms of working with maybe the administration or such a thing. But it turns out that you have to decide if you are serving students or if you are serving administration.
Okay.
By the end of the day, you are the one connecting the students and the administration. You have to find a way to have a good rapport or a good relation with both students and the administration.
What's exactly creating that situation where you actually have to choose whether you're serving the students or the administration? What's creating that divide?
For example, if there are so many challenges in the institution, by the way. So if you decide that first the students elect you with a demand or an expectation that you must do or you ought to do to fulfill their interest, and sometimes fulfilling this means that you'll have to go a long way into forcing things. Sometimes you
Okay.
force to work. And when it means forcing on behalf of students, it means we won't have a good time with the administration.
So how are you able to find that, to strike that balance? Because at the end of the day, we have to get to a conclusion where both parties are
Contented, yeah.
are contented with the decision that has been made. How are you able to strike that balance? Because you're the middleman.
Yeah, I'm the middleman, and now it's been a challenge. That's why we call it a challenge that we need to solve. And what happens is that you will allow the administration to gradually do this thing, and you keep updating the students what is really going on. That's the only way you can solve this.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've talked about students having expectations once they've elected you and you're already in power.
Yeah.
What are maybe some of the expectations that are pretty unrealistic or that are not in your docket that you've maybe encountered with? Maybe someone is telling you, this is just an example, that clear my fees or something like that. What are some of the weird or maybe things that are not within your docket but students are expecting from you?
Yeah, once you are elected, as you've said, students will expect a lot from you. They think these dockets have a lot of cash, in fact, and we've been approached with so many demands that in our offices that maybe a student has not cleared fee. He says, "Can you consider doing this for me?" But now we are also as far as we are students, we are also still we are student leaders, but we are still also students.
Yeah.
So there's some things we cannot stretch ourselves to, but also only to give a guide. The students that have had opportunities to go maybe for exchange programs, and some of those exchange programs, they need to be, there's an amount the students should step in to cater for his or her own expenses. So you are being approached now. You must, as student leader, what are you doing to help me to gather these 200,000 or something? So most of the problems are that we didn't expect are now more on finances. Most of them, they are not able to cater for their meals or everything. Now, as a student leader, you're expected to do something. You can't leave someone to go home because he cannot afford to get a meal for himself. Now, as a student leader, for small expenses, we are now forced to step in.
Okay. We'll get to that top question on finances and
Yes.
budgeting, and I just want to push my next question to Lloyd, where I've been asking him maybe some of the unrealistic expectations that students have.
Yeah.
But rather, do you feel that these our leaders are accessible, or have you been able to, maybe you have an issue that requires, maybe you are trying to speak to your governor or the president per se, would you say that they're accessible ama wamejificha sana? How would you say their accessibility is as a student?
They're accessible when they're campaigning and when the events in the university. Speaking about accessibility, one, he's mentioned something about us having expectations. Yeah. So most of the times, when they come to campaign, they come with things they want to deliver. So if you sell me a dream, I'll definitely expect you to deliver on that. And one problem I have with our leadership in this university is they sell a very unrealistic things like helping people clear missing marks and things like fees. Okay, let's say things like fees. He has said he's a student, so I don't expect him to pay my fees.
Yeah.
But as a link between myself and the administration, he has a bit of a leeway to maybe negotiate things like scholarships, more scholarships for specific students in the arts. Maybe we have more students in this department who would rather get this scholarship because most of them don't have the capability to pay the fee. We use them as we use them as our mouthpieces to the administration. Now, I would advise them next time, even to the ones who are coming in, let's have barazas, let's have town halls, ask the students, what are your issues? We say these are our issues. And tell us, for you, this is this we can deliver, but this hatuoni kama tunaweza fanya. It's transparency. Just tell us, this we will try our best, and we need accountability. If maybe you said that we are trying to improve the Wi-Fi on this section of the school, we've spoken to the ICT team, they've said this. We've pushed for this, they've said this. But if you give us manifestos last year and you keep quiet for the whole year, and then before you leave, you just tell us that we tried, it didn't work. They're not at all accessible. They need to come to the ground, meet their students where they are. Because personally, I don't know my leadership from last year. Not because I didn't want to know, but because one, I didn't even vote, because I didn't understand why am I voting.
Okay, do you have any response for what Lloyd has just said?
On the issue of availability for the student council or student leadership of this year, 2024-2025, I think comparing with the past 2 or 3 years down the line, we've been the most available student leaders in this university. We've been accessible, and we've gone to an extent of even fighting the national system that affects the education sector as student leaders in the university. We've tried our best through the leadership of Rocha Mazao. I think we've had a good time, good interaction time with our students. I think a week cannot end before we have something for our students in the office, either from the president, Rocha Mazao, or from any governor of these faculties. Yeah, and students have felt our impact. Unless I told you, for such an institution or for such faculty, it has so many students. There are students who are not interested. Yeah. They don't even know if there's a student body, or right now even it's a campaign period, but they don't know anything that's going on in school. Are the same students who will still complain. They don't feel our leadership. But those who are politically active, they know we have had an impact in their lives. Yeah.
Okay, is it true?
I don't agree. Yes, we are in the campaigning period, but is anyone campaigning? Or are you just telling us and posting your posters on your pages and just saying vote for us. Why are we voting for you? We need to know why we're voting for you.
At the end of the day, we shall have the commission organizes a debate for these aspiring leaders. It gives all students a platform where you can ask those leaders directly.
Okay.
But most of them don't attend. So at the end of the day, they say there are no campaigns, they don't know that person, they don't. So I'm encouraging students to participate in this electorate process so that they know whom they are electing. They can question him before that.
Lloyd, would you also agree he's saying that a large proportion of the student body are very much oblivious or ignorant when it comes to matters of election? Is that true?
Yes, because I'll say yes. Why? Because the previous administrations have shown us that there's nothing we're gonna get from you. So if there's nothing I'm getting from you, why should I even care if you're in office or not? And I'm saying this because you need to, us, we are Kopa Moja, we are students, we're in the same classes. Come and talk to me and make me understand. Cheki, we are going into election period. This is not the only campus that has elections. We have different campuses in Kenya which have elections. But why do we know that there are certain universities having elections? Because they're out there, they're loud, they're proud, because they know that there's something they're doing for their students, and people are like, okay, there's actually competition. But for us now, I just see names of teams, team this, team that, and banners. But I feel like I'm not discrediting that there's some students who are oblivious, but you guys should try and reach your students more. Not only having the commission being the one that is organizing debates, organizing everything for you, like take the initiative, because these are the people you want to vote for you. So if you don't go to where they are, kama huendi mashinani in this case, because even our political leaders in Kenya try and get to their voters. They don't go to IEBC and say, organize for us something we want to nini. So I think you guys should do more when it comes to reach. I'm not discrediting the fact that we have some students who maybe are not, but if you try, I will be interested.
Okay, but Governor Bernard, I can see you have a burning point when it comes to response.
Yeah, I think what he's saying that you can't assume that now the previous regime did not do well, and now you assume the issue of politics of the institution or student leadership. At the end of the day, the politics of students will affect you. If we do well, it will affect you. If we don't perform, it will still affect you. There must be full participation for you to come up with the best leader. We also, on the issue of reaching out, is a problem, because once in a while is when we can meet the students or have an interaction with them. And there has been a proposal to have a student parliament in place, so that each and every time or occasion regularly we're able to meet students, and we are able to meet leaders, we are able to meet representatives from administration at the same place, so that once we discuss something in that parliament, in the next session, we still have those students, we still have those leaders, we still have those representatives from administration to track the progress of what we are really discussing, to increase the contact between these three stakeholders. There's a proposal to have the student parliament.
Speaking on previous regimes and also performance, let's throw it back to you.
Yes.
Aside from the events and the partnerships, what are maybe some of the things that you're proud of, that you're leaving the seat? You can say, this is what I've accomplished in my tenure as the governor of main campus.
When I mentioned one of my manifestos, and when I was campaigning, I mentioned three things that revolve around student lives. That is their academic welfare, their welfare in accommodation or hostel, and also the third one that I mentioned on professional development. On the issue of academics of the students, as UNSA for FAS, we've tried our best. Even when you compare this 2024-2025 regime and the issue with the promotion because of the missing mark has not been there, because we've tried our best to make sure that with the help of the Dean, Professor Diambo, who is a very cooperative man and listening man, we've made sure that at the end of the day, to solve this problem of missing mark, at the end of every semester, we are incorporating the supplementary and the special exam. That during end of semester exam, those who missed last semester's exam, they're able to do this semester, or those who fail, they're able to do the supplementary this time, so that you don't transit to the next years with the pending supplementaries, with the pending special exams. So this thing is really helping us solve the issue. In this society, you might have so many reasons that can make you miss an exam or fail an exam. And we must accommodate that as a university. As compared to previous years where we had the special and supplementary exams just during long holiday once in a year, we are now having it as after every semester. So it's really helping to solve the issue with the missing marks, to make sure that students graduate on time.
Yeah. Okay, well, I have a question on that, having the special exams after every semester. Are you also equally pushing for, have you also equally pushed for results to be coming after each and every semester? Because if you are having supplementary exams after maybe the first semester, I will be applying using the results from that semester that has just concluded. So are you also pushing for the same? Because in some scenarios you've had the first and second semester, the results are coming out after the holidays. Are you also pushing on that, or what's the progress on that?
Even during the holidays, we are still in touch with our deans, who is in touch with the chairman of all departments, who is making sure that at the end of the day, at the end of every semester, we get results before transiting to the next semester, which has kept our lecturers on trust. So we, at some point, and now we leave this to the incoming leaders so that they keep the same momentum to make sure that this problem with the missing mark is really resolved. And we also encourage students, attend classes, make sure you do the exams, so that at the end of the day you don't blame or don't give a burden to student leaders. But for the things that have happened before that we need to solve, we are really in progress to make sure, we are really moving to make sure that we resolve that problem with the missing mark. And as at now, even my colleague here, he can confirm that this problem is coming to an end gradually, because we can't do it at once. It's a big problem that is supposed to be solved now gradually. Yeah.
Lloyd, can you confirm that what he said is true? That the follow-up is some progress when it comes to receiving of results, and also having the supplementary and special exams being provided after a semester?
Okay, for that, I might agree with him, because because I feel like it's not entirely them who have pushed for that. The administration is also trying to ensure that the students graduate. I'd say that because as a student in my fourth year, we've had a meeting with our chair of department, and he's actually pushed for most of my class members to actually clear and do the necessary so that they can be able to graduate this year. So on that, I agree.
You should
because
agree,
because I've been in class and somebody's actually talked to me about it. That's why I agree.
You should agree strongly, because the same administration was there, and but it's the leadership that pushes the administration.
Why I'm saying,
because we had administration.
Why I'm saying I agree partly, it's because it is our chairman who was concerned. Okay, that's why he decided to reach out to the K62 class and know what is actually going on. So where is the leader coming in there?
But this is a collective effort. As leaders do their part, the chairman of department should do their part, the dean, the administration and the students.
Yes, that's
You
why I've
can't leave
agreed.
everything to student leaders. We do
So
our
so
I
part.
agree.
So,
And
I
Yes,
want
I
us to
agree.
hop back into
Yeah.
the topic on budget and finances, and
Okay.
we've been having some sentiments, mostly coming from the student body,
Yeah.
where they're saying that majority of people who are going into government or maybe leadership want to become the governor or the president per se, they're just doing it for the money, and it's raising some issues when it comes to how the budget and how the finances are allocated when it comes to UNSA. So, can you maybe share some insights to that? Is it just you get the money, put it on the table, decide to distribute, or is there an actual system that has been put in place for the budget to be split?
When it comes to finances, the UNSA budget, we work with a budget of 39 million. And there's nobody, unlike the SONU regime, where we had the SONU account. Right now, we work directly with the Dean of Students through the UNSA liaison person who controls this budget. So we have a system in place. They don't send this money into our accounts and say, now we are beginning a financial year. Now, you as the governor of main campus, you have a budget of maybe 500,000. We are sending you this cash. This money must be accounted for. And at the end of the day, most of the cash is allocated to the running of the UNSA. And in the events that the council or the student leadership proposes, we do the events gradually so that we have events like that take 100,000, that take 80,000, and at the end of the day, after doing this event, you must account for that event. You must account for that event. And to make sure that you account for that event, what happens is that the money is not given to you directly. There's someone we call an advance holder, who now you get the money through that advance holder, who has a salary or who is a staff of the university. So that if this money is misused, the person will have to pay back the money.
So you
So
can verify and assure us that there is transparency
There's transparency in what, in the way this cash is spent. If you can't account for that money, the advance holder is responsible to pay the whole amount. So at the end of the day, you must account for it. Yeah.
Okay, I want to hop into academic matters right now, and the creative industry right now in Kenya is booming. It's a growing industry when it comes to film, music, television, writing, anything creative.
Yeah.
How is the school, because we have the Department of Journalism, we also have performing arts when it comes to Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah.
How is the school supporting such initiatives? Are there maybe some production companies that have been called to give advice, or how is the school working towards growing the film and maybe the creative industry here in Kenya at the school level?
I think the institution has a lot of things they are doing. And just one encouragement to those people in different industries or students who are aspiring to be in different industries. It's now your role to push for what you want. The administration just facilitate. We just help to facilitate. You must propose to them, we have this program and this thing. Can you now source for us partners to support us? And the administration, I think, is very ready. For example, the corporate office and also the dean of students, he has so many partners, by the way. But now, if you don't push for yourself, you may think there are no partners or there's no willingness to help you. It's now your responsibility as a group or as a club to write a proposal and say, we have this and this, can you support us? I think they are very ready. We've had students who've written so many, a proposal or something, and have been helped because the administration also feels this student really needs this thing. They have a good platform. These are a university where it is the partners who are looking for the university. We have so many partners. It's now just it's a matter of these clubs now making sure they consult, they make their proposal clear, and the administration, they really chip in.
So Lloyd, I want to pose this question also to you as a student from the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication. Do you feel that the school is providing you enough infrastructure or maybe enough resources for you to grow as a creative? As he's saying that you need to write proposals, how informed are you on that?
Yeah, definitely we are being covered by the University of Nairobi channel, so definitely the facilities are being offered. We have UNC Radio TV, which is a platform and a lab for students in journalism to practice. However, when it comes to the partnerships and giving students a chance to actually get into the job market, especially in journalism, there's a gap. I feel like we could, especially when it comes to matters internships, attachments. I've seen other students and other schools that actually have opportunities for a certain number of students to actually get to intern in various maybe media houses, production companies. If that is something that the University of Nairobi would adopt through the leadership, it would be really beneficial for especially students in the arts, performing arts, journalism, and such, because it is very hectic looking for an attachment. Being in my fourth year, and I've done mine, but it was not easy getting to that point. But I believe that the university, it is the University of Nairobi, so the connections are there, the contacts are there. We've had very many alumni from this school who are actually in very good positions of power, who we could actually use to get partnerships formally, maybe with different media houses and other companies that you can actually collaborate to get the students from the Department of Journalism and Performing Arts to get their footing in the industry early enough. Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything to retaliate on that? Because he's reported that the school doesn't really actually facilitate attachment opportunities for the students, and knowing the University of Nairobi, it's a university with a lot of connections and a very big alumni association. Is that something you've been able to champion, and if so, what has been the response from the school?
I think the administration has a role to provide that, and if there is any opportunity, I think they can't hide the opportunity from students. What is available, I think, is always published, and the university makes sure or wishes well for our students, by the way, and they can't have an opportunity and miss. And that's why I was saying that at the end of the day, if you are not aggressive, you will not get that opportunity. This is a university with very bright people, and unless you are aggressive, some opportunities you won't even know they are there. So it's your aggressiveness that gives you a chance. Yes.
Okay. I want to go back into student affairs, and you've told us that the main campus it actually is the largest campus, population-wise also, when it comes to the University of Nairobi.
Yes.
How are you with such a diverse student body? Because we have international students from different ethnic backgrounds, different societal backgrounds, different financial backgrounds. How are you able to, not really maybe satisfy, but cater for each and every single one of these demographic groups on a balanced level? How are you able to balance? Because the issues that international students have is not the same as maybe the Islamic community in the school will have. So how are you able to balance these issues?
Now, that one takes back to the formation or the threshold the commission considers even before you were elected. In our team, on bare minimum, you must have at least 7 members. In that 7 members, we have a representative for people living with disability. We have an international representative. And now you have also to balance ethnicity. So the commission also helps us to make sure that we cater for such diversity in the institution. For example, the people living with the representative for PWDs, make sure that he reaches out and also caters for the needs or helps boost the well-being of the students living with disabilities. Also international same. Also the sports and welfare does the same. The vice, every member of the team has his or her roles that make sure that at the end of the day, every student at least feels the leadership that is in place. Yeah.
Okay. Lloyd, as a student yourself, I'm sure you've interacted with the different demographic groups that we have here in school, different ethnicities, international students. Do you feel that they are, or maybe from how you've seen maybe with some of their sentiments, do you feel that they're adequately being represented and their needs being highlighted?
Okay. When it comes to the different ethnic groups and marginalized groups in the university, yes, they might have representation in the council, but what do they really need? What do they really need when it comes to this? Only goes back to going back to the people you're representing. I support his idea of having a parliament because we can't be having leaders who we elect and we only see one person. Maybe we only see Bernard the whole year, but where is his team? Where are the people who are standing alongside him? I'm not attacking. I'm just giving an example. I'm just saying all teams that are going to be elected or have been elected, you find that maybe the governor is the one who is we are seeing regularly at events and doing the most, but the team that he had, those people who are representing the disabled, maybe a specific department or faculty, they should be the people who are actually reaching and giving reports on what is supposed to be done in a specific group, maybe the Islamic group, the Hindu or any other group. Because if they're not working, I don't believe there's any reach. If the team members who are allocated a specific group of people are not actually doing anything, they can't expect the governor to know or somebody who is in power to know what they're supposed to do. Because if you're only there for the elections to fill specific gaps that are required by the commission so that you can pass, then there's nothing. You don't need to be there. Yeah.
Do you agree with what he said?
To some extent, I agree.
Fine.
Because sometimes you have pressure to fill your team.
Yes.
With 7, you must have 7 now. And sometimes when you approach these people, it happens. You are just in a rush. For example, you are given a week to fill your team, and you find someone who is not interested in politics of the institution. But now you are under pressure of filling the team. You just have to take him or her. Maybe that can be resolved through. I've seen other universities have a system where every member now campaigns for his or herself. Even international rep must campaign, must go on ballot independently from the team. So at the end of the day, the person who wins for the governor's seat, the person who wins for the vice chair, the person who wins for maybe sports or international, they come together after campaigning and winning independently. Now everybody will be accountable for his office. And the same person will now, you'll be seeing there is an interest he's really pushing for.
Yeah.
So I feel maybe we can go back to that system where everybody now campaigns independently. And now you just form a team after winning. That makes the contact between each member of the team with the students very, a good contact with the student for every member of the team.
Okay, I just want to go back to the challenges. I've asked you about the challenges that you have faced.
Yeah.
But now, are there any maybe unique challenges that you feel are specific for students within main campus? Are there any challenges that are unique to main campus that maybe someone from lower Kabete or upper Kabete won't be able to face? What's that thing that's unique to the main campus that maybe future aspiring leaders will be able to,
For main campus specifically, I mean, for the other faculties, most of them do practical subjects. And in the main campus, as you said earlier, we are being considered
Yeah, that's a priority.
less or inferior
Yeah.
because of the units or the degree program we are doing. And our what I think we need to do or the administration needs to is to support or review these programs to make them up to date, because there's a feeling there have been so many political science students from the university, but outside there they are not really doing well. Now, a review of the programs might
Might be
assist.
beneficial.
Yeah, yeah.
Lloyd, do you also share the same sentiments that, okay, in your perspective, what are some of the issues that are, or maybe challenges that are specific to main campus students?
Students. Main campus students, most of us, as you've both highlighted, we are given lesser priority when it comes to things in school. Um, at least being championed for and being given first place in most things and priority would be a really good thing. When it comes to maybe more connectivity, especially in sitting areas, we only have the gazebos. We need more facilities to actually get to read and engage with our books and even have our group discussions. We need more facilities for things like those. I've met some who have said they also want better Wi-Fi facilities. I believe it's there, but to some extent it's not as strong as they would have wanted. So that's another thing they would like. Also, I think other campuses have the ability to get transport. So if we could get transport for most people who are coming to the main campus, it would be good.
Okay, you had something to say.
Yeah, also, what we are facing, you see, even under student leadership, maybe under budget and everything, myself, when I came in, I was championing for 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. So that as main campus has a bigger number of students, in terms of allocation, we must not have an allocation where everybody is getting equal, because we have a bigger number of students. Yeah.
Okay. And personally, as a student myself, every single year that they've been having campaigns or elections, I've been hearing the aspirants raising issues when it comes to hostels, infrastructure, but each and every. Personally, I think right now is when the tunnel connecting the hostels and the main campus. Right now is when it's been able to undergo the
Innovation.
revamp. And I've been hearing this story all the way since I was in first year. Currently, I'm in my fourth year and final year.
Yeah.
So, is it? What's the challenge? Why is the infrastructure taking that long to be upgraded or to be improved? What's the issue?
For the case of a tunnel, for this tunnel connecting main campus with the hostel site, now that was not an initiative of the institution. It's under government budget.
Okay.
But from the push we've had with them, at least at the end of the day, they have done. You know, the operations of the government, the priorities. Sometimes you need to force them to do something. But actually, if you have a strong student body, it is easy to make some steps. But also in terms of student or renovations or facilities of the institution, where the admin is responsible, we've had challenges. And my first week in office, I had already declared a mandamano, even before before they knew me, before an introduction with them. I had already, I had something that I was supposed to push for. When I came in, I think the real outcry was on hostels, the renovations.
Yeah.
And I was more specific now to deal with that issue. And I think to some extent, if not fully, we've been able to move a step ahead. Because when I came in, even cleaning of those hostels was a problem.
Yeah.
and renovations.
Yeah.
But we pushed. When I tell you, I risk to, you see, even writing a memo coming from you, sure, the administration might feel you are sabotaging them or something. But I had to do it for our students because it was a very bad, it was in a bad condition, and I was feeling that a student needs better. If you are paying for something, you must at least get what is rational to what you are really paying for. And from that time, we've been pushing for this, and there's an renovation going on. Even though it's gradual, and we allowed them to be gradual, but at least there must be something happening. These hostels are older ones. Even Ruto stayed in the same hostel. So unless there's that gradual renovation, it will be shall be in a very pathetic state. Also, they changed the cleaning companies. There's something going on, and I think in one of my manifesto on welfare of accommodation, I think I've achieved something in that sector.
Okay, just I asked you a question, and there was a response you gave about programs.
Yeah.
And we're living in times where people are not seeing the essence of a degree, and there are changes when it comes to the workforce in all across the world.
Yeah, sure.
The degree is really under attack per se.
Yeah.
So maybe what are some of the initiatives maybe you're feeling that the school should or is taking to improve or to catch up with the workforce, with how the nature of the world is right now, because some courses are not as relevant per se, and others maybe they just need some tweaking here and there. What are some of the initiatives maybe the school should or the school is implementing to catch up with the times?
As I said earlier, is that the programs, I would propose that most of them to be reviewed, because every time we do something or we introduce a program, it should be in a position to resolve the current problem. For example, right now we've been in crisis of drought and everything. So most of the funds are being directed towards environment and etc. We must have a program that in school where we can help to solve such a problem. You're only paid if you are solving a problem. And I'm not dismissing the programs that are there, because still they are needed. For example, psychologists, sociologists, at any day they are needed, but we need to introduce more that can solve the problem the society is facing. For example, as I've given one example on environment, example on AI, we need to introduce such programs that are up to date, that are solving the problems that we are facing today.
Okay, Lloyd, as per my knowledge, you're from the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, and as per my knowledge, I know there was some revision when it came to the courses where the department had two major undergraduate courses that it was offering. That's a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism and Mass Communication, and also Broadcast Production. And right now both of them have been merged, and they've been able to revise the curriculum and the units. Have you been able to go through the units in this new curriculum, and do you agree with what the department has done in merging these courses, and do you feel it's actually relevant for the current market, that current media and creative market?
Yes, I do agree. I actually support that move because initially we had the production class, the K62 and the K59, who are doing journalism and media studies. And some units there were a bit irrelevant according to what we're studying and how the media industry and production has changed to date. So the new program, the revised one, is actually, I feel, is better because you get an all-rounded person who can be a multimedia, multi-talented journalist in different aspects, be it film, be it radio, be it TV, because the media industry now is very competitive. So you have to be able to wear many hats. You have to, yes, you have that skill that you are very good at, but you need to have at least a good know-how of doing all the other things when it comes to sound, lighting, camera, directing, and all script writing. So it has actually given the journalism students an avenue to be better, because I've also seen there's a class that incorporates social media and such. So it's actually a step forward in the Department of
In the right
Journalism.
direction.
Yes.
Anyway, you've brought an issue with psychology being a very important
course.
aspect of
Yes.
education, and I just want to bring it back to mental health is such an important aspect of life, and university can be very challenging at times because there are people who are juggling different things, maybe work, others actually have families, others are trying to find their school fees per se. And how has your administration been able to cater for the mental health needs of the students?
It's a big challenge, and the issue with the mental health, which is being brought about by the challenges students face. And in my tenure, we've encouraged a peer-to-peer counseling, because sometimes these students coming from their hostels and moving to the mental health offices is a bit difficult. And we've also made sure that as student leaders, we're also around to encourage that, or to be part of the peer-to-peer counseling, so that also if students have a chance to share, we give them a platform to share what they are going through. We've had cases where students hang themselves or kill themselves just because of the pressure of life. But we've encouraged, or we've made sure that at least students, student leaders, we are reachable and we are available at any point. For myself, I believe in leadership where people feel it is their own, they own it, and I don't fear people whom I lead, by the way. That's why every time I'm available, and you'll find me with so many students, just walking around with students, because I feel like I don't need to fear the people I lead to lead them effectively. So introducing and pushing peer-to-peer counseling will really help to solve this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Lloyd, and maybe from the perspective of a student, maybe what are some of the things that are really affecting students' mental health?
Finances really takes a toll on you, especially now that we're in a very difficult economy, and students are coming from different walks of life, different economic backgrounds, and we all come to meet at the University of Nairobi, where different things are actually happening. So most students are actually facing some financial issues that actually even lead them to do specific things that are not entirely good for their mental health, leads you to depression. Maybe you end up even squandering the only money that you have in drugs and such. So I feel like we should be more informed and aware on matters that are, and how to manage ourselves, especially comes to money, because living within your means is actually a thing, and we should not, you should not change your lifestyle because somebody's doing a specific thing in the university. So I feel like they should be more reach to them, and they should be taught on matters. Money management, relationships also is another thing that is really, really taking a toll on people. They come to campus and experience relationships with friends, and they don't know how to navigate them. They end up going the wrong path, and even the romantic relationships. So as students, I feel that there's a lot that people are juggling, and also the academic stuff. So it's a lot, but if the avenues the avenues are there, so the student should take the initiative to go and talk to someone if you need to talk to someone.
I think
Bernard,
even
also you
the-
as a student yourself, do you agree with some of the issues he's highlighted? Do you feel?
I think the issue of finance, or how a student is surviving in the institution, because the cases we've had mostly is a student going into depression because he cannot cater for his needs, the basic needs. But also I appreciate the Office of the Dean of Students, because for needy students, they have a kit for needy students, and also have rolled out a program for where you can still work, and at the end of the day,
Yeah,
you are
the
still
work
included
study
under
program,
work
yeah.
study program, where the needy students are recruited, and at the end of the day, they can get something small for for their for their survival in the institution. It's a good initiative, but I would also encourage that most of them complain because the token being given is a bit small. Maybe the dean of students, if he gets to hear this,
Yeah, I
he
think the
can
rate
add
is
something.
50 bob an hour currently.
50 bob an hour.
Yes.
They can, because also at this time, 50 bob or 100 a day cannot take you, cannot help you cater for a whole day. If they can increase something on that kitty, so
Yes.
that at the end of the day, they are able to the students are able to, what they are doing actually resonates with the services they are providing. Yeah, so that we don't just take them literally as students
Yeah.
are helping, just give them something substantial.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We've been having not really issues, but conversations around the new funding model.
Yeah.
We're also having issues with the disbursement of help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you feel that those are also issues that are also affecting the mental health of students, university students?
It has been, for the case of help first, I think when cash is delayed, they really inconvenience these students. You know, most of us depend literally on that help cash, by the way, especially the one that is directly to our pockets. Even we had before we had some demonstration here, peaceful one to the help offices. Because most of the students in January, they had not been able to even get fare to report back to school because they were waiting for this help to be disbursed before reopening. But now it has gone an extent of up to 2 weeks or 3 weeks, there's no disbursement. Most of them really remained at home, or student leaders had to chip in for them to come back to school. Now, after sending someone fare to come back to school, how is he going to survive, or how is she going to survive? You see, the help department should really consider timely disbursement of cash to students, because once the semester kicks off, the student need that money as urgent as possible, and they need to improve their services. You see, even the cash being given is not really that much, and the student leadership that comes into position. I understand these public offices, they do things at their own pace, which is not good. So I encourage the student leaders who come in, a follow-up, a serious follow-up, so that we don't inconvenience our students. And on the issue of new funding model, right now it has been stopped for a while by the court. But it was really affecting so many, because the issue of banding, it was not a effective one.
Yeah.
And you find someone who is supposed to be in band 1 is already he's been placed in band 4, where he pays now much fee. And you see, once you are not able to cater for your fee, you are not able to register units, you are not able to do anything in the institution. There has been a big complaint on the issue of banding, but as at now, if it was stopped, now we have no problem. Some of us, we are casualties of the demonstration we had against the new funding model.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have like a minute left for us to go for a break, and I just, as a parting shot, I really want each of you to maybe give a message to the incoming, maybe the aspirants. Maybe in the next couple of weeks there will be an incoming governor from the main campus.
Yeah, sure.
So what sentiments do you have to the incoming governor, and Lloyd, what will you want to see implemented by this incoming governor? Possibly 30 seconds each.
Okay.
Let's start with you.
First of all, it's time for campaign. May the best candidate win. And students must take this process as their own. They must participate. And to the incoming governor for main campus, make sure the leadership you portray is a leadership that supports or is of student-centered leadership. Don't fear your constituents. Listen to them. And number 2, make sure you also push so that you upgrade or review the constitution of UNSA. There's need for that.
Yeah. Lloyd, what do you have to say?
From my point of view, I'd say 1, you're working for students. Please get to know what we want as students. Number 2, we need transparency. We need accountability, if possible. If they're going to use any funds, let us be notified and let us know what is actually happening within the UNSA leadership, because it will actually give us confidence in the teams.
So thank you so much, gentlemen, for having this conversation with me. I've equally learned a lot from having this conversation with you. Thank you so much for showing up, and thank you so much for giving us your time. And we will be hopping into a short break right now. I will be coming in with the Secretary General from the Chiromo campus, that's Wilson. We'll be speaking to him also concerning the whole topic of elections and also the academic year that has been 2024-2025 when it comes to the student leadership. We have a short story concerning elections that will be playing in just a couple of minutes. Remember, this is UNSA Hot Seat, and you can find us on our social media platforms. That's UNCTVKE on Instagram and also on X, and use the hashtag UNSA Hot Seat. Send in your questions, send in any comments you have to our guests in studio, and we'll be coming in just a couple of minutes, so please do not go anywhere.
Kulingana na katiba ya chama cha wanafunzi wa chuo kikuu cha Nairobi UNSA, wagombea kiti cha ugavana wanahitajika kuwa na wawakilishi kutoka makabila, jinsia na idara tofauti.
Kwa kizungu kuna kitu tunaita cultural diversity. So hiyo ndio faida ya kwanza. Sije tukapata watu wa kabila moja wamejaa kwa timu moja. Na you see, vile chuo kikuu cha Nairobi ni shule ambayo ni world class. Lazima wanafunzi wenye wanaka kwa timu watoke from eneo tofauti za nje.
Timu zinazowania kiti hicho aidha zinatakiwa kuwa na mwenyekiti, naibu mwenyekiti, katibu mkuu, mwakilishi wa masuala ya michezo na ustawi na mweka hazina. Isitoshe, mwakilishi wa wanafunzi walio na uraia wa asili ya mataifa ya kigeni na mwakilishi wa wanafunzi wanaoishi na ulemavu ni hitaji kwa timu hizi.
Kazi ya mweka hazina ni kuhakikisha kuwa katika events zote tutapanga tumepata pesa za kufanya hizo events, na pia stick to the budget ni tumepanga kwa hiyo events.
Kwanza kabisa lazima sports kuwe mtu wa michezo, kwamba kuwe mtu ambaye umekuwa active kwenye sporti. Lazima uko unacheza kama ni mpira, wewe ni mtu ambaye unaogelea, lazima tukue umeparticipate na pia umetengeneza tournaments na wanafunzi.
Matakwa haya aghalabu huwapa wagombea changamoto wanapotafuta wawakilishi na pia wanapozitafuta nembo za timu zao.
Changamoto zilikuwa mingi, kwanza katika kutengeneza timu, kupata watu katika kabila tofauti ambao wamejitayarisha na wako na zile required documents za kugombea katika kiti cha faculty. Ilikuwa kazi nyingine ngumu sana, lakini tukiangalia katiba tukasoma vizuri, tunaweza kuidentify people ambao wanajituma, na lazima pia uangalie mtu ambaye ako willing kufanya kazi kwa wanafunzi.
Hata hivyo, maelekezo haya huwa hayafaidi tu, bali pia huchangia katika kukuza umoja na ujumuishaji katika uongozi wa chuo.
Welcome back to UNSA Hot Seat. My name is John Chacha. Remember, this is UNC TV. You're catching us live from the University of Nairobi main campus, where we're having conversations with the outgoing UNSA Council and also represent student body, student leaders, just having conversations about the year that has been 2024-2025 when it comes to student leadership. Remember, the elections are coming in just a couple of days, so please make sure that your logins, your portals, every single thing is set, and remember, your vote is your voice. And with me on set right now, I have Mr. Wilson, who's the Secretary General from the faculty from Chiromo campus. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir.
Okay, and on my far left, I also have a lady on the panel. You guys were saying we need a lady on the panel. We've listened to the call. We have a lady on the panel. We have Moema from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. How are you guys doing?
I'm well.
You're well?
Yes, I'm well.
Just before we went on a break, we were having our conversations with the governor from main campus, and he made a point that the UNSA constitution needs review. Do you agree on this, or you're opposing it? Do you support?
Yeah, I support this.
Why?
This is because the constitution that was made way before is very rigid, and in my opinion, it does not allow students to really practice their rights. Because sometimes you find like right now in my campus Chiromo, we don't have even a team cleared that is supposed to represent the students in the next election. So we are not even sure whether we'll practice our rights or not. So I think with that, they should at least make some few changes to at least allow it to be not much complicated as it is right now.
Okay, last week we had a conversation with the staff commissioner from the Independent Electoral Commission, and he took us through the whole election process. But could you kindly maybe take me through the pre-election, the campaigning, the getting cleared for the teams, the whole issue with teams, because maybe the understanding we have for elections is the general elections when it comes to the country. That's our understanding, and the University of Nairobi uses a different format and a different system. Could you maybe take us through what each and every single step, maybe the rules that you have to follow for you to have a team and for you to be able to find your name and maybe your team on the ballot paper?
I think the very first step in the UNSA election is forming a team name. That is, many times it is not always it is not complicated. It is a very easy process. But now the problem comes where you get your clearance from the team that is supposed to represent the faculty. According to the constitution, it is supposed to be diverse. It's supposed to be diverse in tribal diversity. You're supposed to represent all the departments from your faculty, and also it has to have an international student, and also it's also supposed to represent the people with disabilities. And as we know, faculty like Chiromo, not many and not all students really want to get themselves involved in politics. So getting that bond of a team is not easy. So it is very hectic for us, and the documents that are required for a person to be a member of a team are also very hectic to get, because you have to have the good conduct and your portal have to be very clear. You're not supposed to be having missing marks. You're not supposed to be having ease in your portal. So your academic credentials are supposed to be very on point. So I think that is where the problem comes in, because many people who really want to get involved in politics, some of them, they don't have a very clear portal. Some of them cannot get their good conduct. In contrast, the guys who don't want to get involved in politics have the same. So getting a team to bond so that you can represent it to the election committee, it is not easy. That is the only difficult thing. And after then, you now proceed to the campaign. It also costs a lot of money, because comrades nowadays, they vote. They don't really vote. Okay, the days before, that comradeship was so high, such that they had that urge to vote in any person who is willing to represent their interest. But nowadays, just as same as Kenya, comrades, they have seen it that the very leaders that they elect don't really represent their interests. So they can only vote for you at the expense of transaction. I think that is the most difficult thing. Yeah.
Okay, Muema, we are talking about the UNSA constitution. You as a student, do you have an understanding of the UNSA constitution? Have you interacted with it in any way, shape or form?
Yes, I have interacted with many candidates who are aspirants for the gubernatorial race in the main campus and also from Chiromo campus. So I've gotten a chance to look at the UNSA constitution, and I feel like it is very rigid because just as he has mentioned that that it must have an international student, someone to also represent students with disabilities, certificate of good conduct. In as much as they're trying to look at the background of these aspirants, I feel like they should at least let this constitution be a little bit loose to accommodate more individuals. Because, for instance, if someone wants to stand for the seat of being a governor or even a secretary general and they have a missing mark, maybe this missing mark came from a point of, let's say, ignorance from the side of the lecturer and not the student. So I feel like missing marks should not even be part and parcel of, it should not even appear in the constitution, because sometimes missing marks happen and it's not the students to blame. So I feel like they should try to loosen up a little bit to accommodate more interest of students.
He's raised a comment where he's saying that right now voting has been commercialized, where you need to actually have a budget, a very big budget, for you to quote unquote pay for the votes. Do you think that's true? Are students selling their votes to these aspirants, or are they voting from a point of actually understanding the manifestos and actually caring for what the next academic year will look like in terms of student leadership?
So I have interacted with most of students from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. That's the main campus, and I feel like what he has said is true. Politics has been really commercialized. The more your pocket is big, the more you'll get more votes. So you can get, in some instances, someone paying per vote 50 shillings or 100 shillings to just get the vote, because we have lost that sense of democracy. We have lost that sense of real politics as a faculty. And you can even get to see that for students don't want to line up. The system of lining up to vote was eradicated. So students are voting online, but people don't want to vote. But when they are told that we have money, they're compelled to vote by the money that is being offered by these aspirants. And also, just to add on that a little bit, I just saw a message on a WhatsApp group yesterday evening that the poor don't deserve to be leaders. And if you check that on main campus or even other faculties in the University of Nairobi, it is true, because the more you have a big pocket, the more you'll get votes.
So I'll take it back to you, Secretary General. Do you feel it's maybe a culture we have formed as Kenyans when it comes to elections, where it's usually the highest bidder or the aspirant who can, disperse the largest amount of money that always ends to win the day, or there's still hope for the Kenyan election system, be it in school or be it national, where we're actually having free and fair elections where it's just you and your manifesto?
According to the deceit by the political class, I think the trend will even go higher, because sometimes back we used to elect leaders thinking that they will always serve our interest at heart. But after electing them in office, they really change, even in our current national government. So I think in the next round, people will be voting at the expense of maybe money, because at the end of the day, they will think that maybe if I vote for this person, at the end of the day, after him or she getting into office, they will always forget about us. So at least if they transact for us, I will count that in. So I think this trend will always go high until maybe another regime will always change the story. Yeah.
Okay, we're from speaking to as I've said, we're from speaking to the governor of main campus, and main campus is a very large, has a very equally large student population, and I'm sure it's equally the same at Chiromo campus. So how has your administration been able to make sure that you're catering to each and every student's needs and maybe each and every single group, because we're having different the groups of people. We have international students, we have different ethnic groups, we have the Islamic community, we have different groups when it comes to the demographic of the students. How are you able to make sure that you're trying, if not maybe 100% successful, to maybe listen to each and every single group, so that we're not having a situation where certain groups of students are feeling isolated?
Chiromo has equally a good number of students, and as for us, since before we got into office, we used to serve in various professional bodies, and that made us really bond with the students. We were always friends. I think our team was elected because we were always getting involved with the students. We were in CU, we were practicing in the faculty clubs. So with that, after getting into office, it was easy for us. Even if we were to communicate, we would always call a meeting, and everyone would turn up. So that would ease communication. And we always hold many events in Chiromo. Chiromo is a faculty of science and technology. So there are very many technological events that happen there. So through those events that we hold, we really get in touch with the comrades, or our fellow comrades, and that will make it easy for us to accommodate not all but almost every comrade in the faculty. So it has always been easy. I can say through the events that we hold, and I think through the bond that we made before we got into office.
Okay. You being a student leader, your primary function is being a link between the student body and also the administration. But sometimes, maybe those are two completely different groups, and one group might be saying this way and the another group is saying this way, and mostly resistance comes from the administration. So have you faced any resistance when it comes to maybe a policy you want to implement, or something, or an activity or an initiative that you want to maybe push for the student body, but then have you faced any resistance from the administration when it comes to that?
Okay, I think our criteria as our team, we always work with the administration. We don't work for them, we don't work against them, but we work with them. So it is always easy for us to sort issues that are emerging, maybe the resistance from the comrades towards admin, because we always go to them, we talk to them, we liaise, we make a deal, and if the deal is actualized, we have always won. Yeah, so I think that is why we have always been existing, because we coexist with the admin, and we coexist with our fellow comrades who are not in power.
Okay. I want to take this question to Mwemba also as a student. Do you feel that the outgoing student leadership body has been able to work for you as a student, or do you feel they've been able to cater for your needs as with what they had maybe advertised or maybe pushed or sold an agenda to you during their manifesto? Do you feel that they have delivered and they've actually worked for you as a student?
So when I check back on the last year's election, the manifestos presented by most of the gubernatorial aspirants, or even the chairpersons, that is presidentials, I feel like they have not delivered. What they said in their manifestos and what has really actually come to pass are two different things completely. Because before they got into seat, most were saying we're going to deal with the hostels, we're going to deal with many things, sanitation, hygiene, but it's a totally different case, because even today, if you go to the hostels, for example, hall 20 or hall 14, the situation that was last year is the same situation still the same situation right now. So I feel like even if they have worked, they've just worked 50%, and the 50% they have left it maybe for the next the incoming governors and presidents, and I feel like that's not the way to go. I feel like they should have done something that they said in their manifestos.
Yeah. You, as a student leader, what's your response to that? Because we are having very big promises during the campaign period, but then at the end, when we do maybe an assessment test, maybe 40% has been delivered or 30% has been delivered. What's happening to the other 60, 70%? What's the issue? Why are we not having 100% manifesto accomplishments?
Before I got into UNSA, I used to have some other perspectives. But after getting into office, everything really changed because I came to realize that the UNSA there are very many restrictions in UNSA, and the restrictions are imposed by the administration. That is the University of Nairobi administration. I think there's always an induction immediately after an election. There's an induction somewhere outside outside campus, where we are supposed to tell them our grievances and the way you want them to be tackled, and they're supposed to tell us what we are supposed to do so that we deliver to the comrades. But when we get there, they have a lot of PR. Administration play a lot of PR with UNSA.
Okay.
Because something like maybe the renovation of the hostels, it is something that we have really talked about, we have liaised about it, we have demonstrated about it, but then the end goal is always a lot of PR. Because, okay, as UNSA, which is a student body, they cannot really make changes in the hostels. They are only supposed to represent that to the admin, and the admin are supposed to act. And that action is not there. UNSA has been doing their part from the last regime to this one, maybe to the future regimes. But the main problem is the administration. Yeah, because they promise what they don't deliver. Yeah.
There have been maybe reports that student leadership and student elections sort of sometimes mirror the ill sides of our national elections when it comes to bribery, favorism, nepotism, just the whole election malpractice. Would you say that the same is also experienced here during the student elections at the University of Nairobi?
Not really, because the election protocol in UNSA is very rigid to me. You really have to go to the ground and get the votes. It is not difficult to steal the votes, as in national politics. It is not easy. So the only solution or the only answer is you go to the ground, you campaign, you get more comrades on board, which will give you a support. Yeah.
On to you, Mwema. As a student yourself, the University of Nairobi uses an electoral system where we're not actually going to cast physical ballot papers as we do in the national elections. Have you received, because we had the staff commissioner from the Independent Electoral Commission just last week, and he was pro the system, and he was saying the way the commission has really taken a lot of steps to educate the student body when it comes to how to register, how to vote themselves. Do you feel that this system is qualified or is good enough, and is it a system that you can actually trust?
Okay.
Because he's talked about the system being very trustworthy, there's no malpractice, there's no bribery. As a student, what's your sentiment on that, on the system?
I can just make a comparison between last year 2024 and this year 2025. So last year we had our AD accounts. Let's say you want to vote, and for you to vote you need to log in your credentials using the AD account. So when you go to log in your credentials using the AD account, you find that you've already voted. You have already voted, and it's not you who voted. So when I followed up, I came to realize that we had people, I don't know how they could access our credentials, and they used them. And they used the credentials to vote on your behalf. But I've been following up, and I just saw on my email last week that for someone to vote now, they'll send you a code. So if even someone wants to vote on your behalf, no, they'll not be able to vote on your behalf, because they'll send a code to your contact, then you'll have to key in that code before you vote. So I feel like this year, the Electoral Commission of the University of Nairobi has really done the task of ensuring, yes, they have tightened the bolts to ensure that at least we have a trustworthy and a transparent election. So I'm looking forward to a trustworthy and a transparent election this year.
Sasa, do you have any sentiments to add on to that?
I do a comparison. Okay, last year, it was very easy for someone to vote for you on your behalf when they are able to access your credentials. But as compared to now, it is not easy to access someone's student email because it is very personalized. So right now it is not, even if you have the credentials, you can never vote for anyone, because we will have to access the code that is supposed to be sent in that student email. You will key it in so that it can allow the process to continue. So.
Okay, we've talked about infrastructure, we've talked about the hostels, and we've just, as I was saying, I was speaking with the main campus governor, and he was saying that there's also issues when it comes to lecture theaters. But now I'm trying to see the perspective of Chiromo campus, where majority of the courses are actually very practical. So infrastructure is a very big necessity. So are you guys also facing the same issue with labs, or maybe something that it constitutes infrastructure, and how has your council and your teammates and your leadership been able to follow up on this and
we used to have a very big problem in terms of infrastructure in Chirom, and we still have some problems because even when we got into office, our library was leaking literally, and people, I know we share a library with the people from the Faculty of Health Science, and it really accommodates many people. And when it is leaking, it means we are not able to study. So we tried, we engaged the admin. They really used to assume us, but we got to the point where we demonstrated in the campus, and they acted. And at least for now I can say the renovation was made, and people are able to read again, are able to make their studies in that library. And even our halls, our study halls, were not in good conditions, maybe as compared to main campus. We only have 2 halls in Chiromo, Millennium Hall 1 and Millennium Hall 2. Both of them were leaking. We were not even able to charge our phones because it did not have sockets. But after our engagement with the administration, at least they acted, and for now we can say our regime, our team did something for those changes to be made. Yeah, sure.
Okay, science and technology is STEM itself is an ever-evolving career and an ever-evolving industry. So right now, how has the school been able to maybe implement policies or maybe structures or facilities that are actually catching up with the times? Because we're having sentiments where people are alluding or maybe speculating that a degree is not as important as it was back in the day. So there are very many changes that need to be made. So are there any changes that the school has maybe implemented in the curriculum in your campus to maybe catch up with the times and be relevant?
Last year around September, our chancellor there's an ICT which was brought up in Chiromo, and it was offering free courses in Chiromo. So I think as a Chiromo, as a faculty of technology, maybe bringing up an ICT in our faculty is one of the fundamentals that can make the faculty evolve as a STEM.
Okay, I'll take you back to Mwema. From my understanding, you're a class representative, and I understand that the Department of Journalism has been able to merge two previous courses. We had journalism and mass communication and broadcast journalism, and you are currently studying the new curriculum, right? So will you say it's of benefit? Do you feel like you're benefiting from it, or does it also require some changes? Do you feel it's relevant to the current media and creative space?
I feel like the merging of the two courses is very relevant for students who want to partake this course, because one thing that when I followed up to know why they merged it is that you could find that we had very many subdivisions in journalism and mass communication, whereby you could find that someone in this subdivision is doing the same thing as someone in the other subdivision. So the merging has made it easier for students to at least, choose their interest and passions, because there's no need for you to do two different things on two different subdivisions. So the merging has enabled students at least, choose something they can do and work on.
I'll take the next question to our Secretary General on the panel. And you've told me that you, in some instances, you are combined with the health sciences, the Faculty of Health Sciences, and mental health has been such a big conversation when it comes to STEM and also health sciences, people within the field. And how have you been able to maybe facilitate mental health platforms for the students to be able to have conversations, or maybe just help to improve their mental health? Have you had maybe initiatives or maybe programs that you've been able to implement and put into place to help students in mental health issues?
Okay. In Chiromo, we have a club called Chiromo Campus Peer Counselors. I think it is a big club actually. I was once a member before I got into office, and it really accommodates many students with mental problems, those who are depressed, those who are going through a lot, and it is set up in such a way that it has members who are always on ground, maybe to always check up on any other comrade who is going through anything out there. So I think for the club, I can give a credit to the club, because in Chiromo, Faculty of Science and Technology alone, even the report that was made before when we were in Mombasa, in the UNSA retreat, Chiromo was not having many problems, maybe on drugs and substance abuse. So I think that club has really helped, and we always have a lot of events with the corporate world that is dealing with the mental health programs. I think that has always raised an awareness out there, and comrades, at least I can say, somehow they're deprived of such kind of problems.
Back to the issue of missing marks, as we were talking about the teams and all that. We're having two very conflicting voices, where the students are pushing the blame to the department, and then the department is also pushing the blame to the students. But from your perspective, and you've interacted, and also you as a student yourself, who would you say that there's maybe one person or one team that is to blame, or it's a collective effort? And what's the way forward? How do we end this issue with missing marks? Because we're having it over and over again. Every single regime that is coming and campaigning, they're talking about missing marks, they're talking about hostels. Specifically to the missing marks issues, how do we end this, and who exactly, or what is the issue? What's really causing it?
At least, I think it is supposed to be a responsibility of the two teams, that is the lecturer and the student. Because missing mark, I think it means, for me, a missing mark, it means you did the exam, you submitted your paper either online or maybe physically, and the lecturer, and you don't get your marks. That is the missing mark. But sometimes you get that we as students, we confuse missing marks, and maybe I did not do exams completely, and I did not submit anything, and I claim that I have a missing mark. That is a difference. If you did the exam and you submitted, and maybe there's somewhere you signed, maybe either online or physical, it is always possible to trace with the lecturer, because you will go for him. If he is available, we will go to the records and he will check. And if that is difficult, that is where we now come in as student leaders. We liaise with the chair of the department. We go through it. Even if the lecturer is away, the chairman of the department can always access. So we go and check if the student did the exam, if he signed, if he attended the classes, and if all those were done, you are able to get your marks. But if you did nothing completely, and some of us students, we are always, sometimes we get very dishonest when we come to these things. You get that maybe I did not do the exams, and I claim that I did the exams. That one is very difficult because the university has a protocol and has the regulations of how you are supposed to conduct yourself with examination. So I think until we will be honest with ourselves, even if you did not do the exams, just share it out. Say, I did not do the exams and I need the exams. This is why I did not do the exams, and I want the exams so that I can do them, so that I can get my marks. But if you continue saying that maybe I did not get my marks and I did my exams, and you did not do, and you know that, it will always escalate. And maybe you can take 4 years looking for same exam because of your negligence. Yeah.
Okay, Muhammad, what do you have to say concerning the whole issue on missing marks, and what do you have to say?
Actually, missing marks has become a thorn in the flesh of very many students in the University of Nairobi. I feel like missing mark is brought about by ignorance from the side of the student and not the lecturer. The student is to blame, because I'm speaking from a perspective of a class representative, whereby someone did the exam, yes, someone did some cuts, yes, but only one cut that this person didn't do on a specific day will make them have a missing mark, because the grade someone gets in their portal is accumulative of the cuts, the assignments, and the exam. So if you do your exams, you do your cuts, and you fail to do your assignments, probably you'll have a missing mark. So students should be very vigilant when it comes to class attendance, when it comes to doing their exams, when it comes to course registration, when it comes to assignments, and when it comes to cuts, to avoid missing marks. Yeah.
Okay, last week we had a conversation, and there was some questions coming in when it comes to the definitions of roles within UNSA, where a student might have an issue with maybe a certain issue. It could be a completely random issue, but then they're not sure in which docket does the issue lie, or are they going to go and speak to their governor? Are they going to go and speak to the Secretary General? Are they going to go and look for the president? So I really want to understand, are the roles actually defined, that you as the Secretary General, these are your roles, as the governor, these are the roles? Are they defined, and as you enter office, do you really understand them, or how does it go about?
With UNSA as a team, okay, there are roles written in the book. They are written somewhere. But then, as a team, and as the way we coexist, apart from, I can say, 3 dockets: sports and welfare, people with disability, and international students. Maybe some of them, they always have specific roles. Someone like sports and welfare is supposed to really stand in for the welfare of the students, specifically in the sports department. An international student is supposed to always fight for the welfare of the international students, and also a person with a disability is supposed to stand in for all the comrades with a disability, because they understand them most. But the rest of us in the team, we are really supposed to do the work. Maybe me as a spokesperson of the team, I'm supposed to also help in handling the missing marks. I'm supposed to fight for renovation of the hostels. I'm supposed to do everything. I cannot say I have a specific role as the SG. I'm supposed to do everything.
So don't you feel that brings a clash, because maybe this one is handling this issue, this one is also handling this issue, but it doesn't bring a clash at all?
No, it doesn't bring any clash.
It's very smooth, really.
Yeah, it is very smooth. Maybe there can only be a problem when maybe one of our members is not doing his work or our work. Yeah.
How do you follow up? How do you push that person to come up? Or
okay, the team leader, within the faculty, the team leader, who is the governor, is supposed to handle that. But sometimes, as adults after getting to office, people go their different ways, but we always try to bond together as much as possible.
How do you handle conflict within that scenario? Because sometimes when maybe the voter is going to vote, maybe they are voting because so and so is in the team, and then later on something happens, they are no longer in the team. How is conflict handled within the councils or the teams?
To be honest, some of the UNSA members, okay, before we get into office, we are always one, because we have the same interest of maybe getting into that office and working together. But after that, people get interest. Where there is money and power, the interest must be different. So many teams end up maybe not all of them getting into good terms after that office. So to me, it is always normal, because in a world where we are, money and power bring diverse interest. So to me, that is normal.
Okay, I'll push the same question back to Mwema. How do you feel, maybe when it comes to accessibility of the leaders and you understanding their roles, be it the Secretary General, be it the Governor, is this information easily accessible to you, and also are these leaders easily accessible to you whenever you have an issue maybe you want to raise with them?
So I would say that in as much as we have a full team of 7 members, when elections are nearing, the relevant person after elections who plays a significant role is the chairperson, or I can say the governor, because you might find even if you meet the SG when working in main campus, you won't recognize them. If you meet the sports rep, you won't know them, but if you meet the governor, you'll know them. So I feel like the governor is the only person who plays a significant role after elections, pushing for things, working on things. But the other 6 representatives, like the treasurer, I even don't know the treasurer of the last team, that is the outgoing team. So the governor is the only relevant person, and the person who also is easily accessible. But for the other 6 members, it's just a cat and mouse game.
Sawa. Do you also agree with what she's saying, because she's saying that maybe the other team members are not as vocal or as visible as the team lead?
Yeah,
that's the governor.
Yeah, I agree, because the governor is the team leader. With experience, after getting into office, he or she always choose a person to work with. He or she can be an SG or the sport rep, mostly an SG and the sport rep. So the blame is always on the governor many times, because he's the one on the ground, and maybe SG or the sports rep for me, but the governor carry the main task, because when the team fails to deliver, they will always say that Governor so-and-so has not delivered in his regime.
So we have probably a minute left for us to wrap up. I just want you maybe to give a parting shot, or maybe a message to the incoming student body. What message do you have for your incoming governor, the SG? What's something that you would want them to implement? What would you want to see implemented? And as for you, maybe some piece of advice you have for the incoming student leadership body. I think I'll start with you, SG.
Thank you. UNSA is a good opportunity. It is a good experience, and for the incoming regime, for the incoming governor, for the incoming president, if you get into that office, it is only wise that you make sure that you don't work for the admin. Work with the admin and with the fellow comrades, because that is what brings that deliverance. If you really want to deliver for the comrades, always work with the admin, because at any time you people clash too much, there will be much time for noise, there will be much time for demonstration, but there will be no time for the work that you promised your comrades, the work in your manifesto. So my advice is that after getting to office, work with the comrades, work with the admin. Don't go in bed with the admin, of course, because the comrades will always be in a very bad condition. Otherwise, I wish the incoming governor, the incoming president, the incoming UNSA team well after getting into office. Thank you.
So thank you so much, sir. Mwema, let's keep it short.
Okay, for the incoming student body, I'll just like to tell them that they should live up to their manifestos. In as much as they are printing their manifestos in pomp and glory, what to expect to see on the ground is work. Basically, their basic role is to liaise between the administration and the students. So they should work to make sure that the University of Nairobi students have an easy academic life all the way from first year to fourth year. That's all.
So thank you so much, lady and gentlemen, for coming on our panel today. A very insightful conversation. Thank you so much for giving us your time and coming on UNSA Hot Seat. And as for now, we're going to take a short break. We will be coming right back. As for now, we just want to see a story concerning the role of social media in student election. Remember, this is UNSA Hot Seat on UNC TV. Remember, our social media handles is UNC TV KE on X, Instagram, and you can reach out to us and use the hashtag UNSA Hot Seat.
UNC TV, empowering you.
Mtu ametoka Mombasa, mwingine ametoka Northeastern. Wakikuja pamoja huwa wanaleta ideas from their different backgrounds ambayo itasaidia pia wanafunzi na pia kusongeza faculty mbele.
Huku uteuzi wa timu ukiwa umekamilika na joto la uchaguzi kupanda, kundi la timu mahiri sasa zinajipanga zikiandaa mazingira ya sura mpya katika uongozi wa UNSA. Nikiripotia runinga ya UNC, mimi ni Patience Jedida.
UNC TV, empowering you.
Kulingana na katiba ya chama cha wanafunzi wa chuo kikuu cha Nairobi UNSA, wagombea kiti cha ugavana wanahitajika kuwa na wawakilishi kutoka makabila, jinsia na idara tofauti.
Kwa kizungu kuna kitu tunaita cultural diversity. So hiyo ndiyo faida ya kwanza. Sije tukapata watu wa kabila moja wamejaa kwa timu moja. Na you see, vile chuo kikuu cha Nairobi ni shule ambayo ni world class. Lazima wanafunzi wenye kwa timu watoke from eneo tofauti za nje.
Timu zinazowania kiti hicho aidha zinatakiwa kuwa na mwenyekiti, naibu mwenyekiti, katibu mkuu, mwakilishi wa masuala ya michezo na ustawi na mweka hazina. Isitoshe, mwakilishi wa wanafunzi walio na uraia wa asili ya mataifa ya kigeni na mwakilishi wa wanafunzi wanaoishi na ulemavu ni hitaji kwa timu hizi.
Kazi ya mweka hazina ni kuhakikisha kuwa katika events zote tutapanga tumepata pesa za kufanya hizo events na pia stick to the budget tumepanga kwa hiyo event.
Kwanza kabisa lazima sports kwa mtu wa michezo, kwamba ukue mtu ambaye umekuwa active kwenye sporti, lazima ukue unacheza kama ni mpira, wewe ni mtu ambaye unaogelea, lazima tukue umeparticipate na pia umetengeneza tournaments na wanafunzi.
Matakwa haya aghalabu huwapa wagombea changamoto wanapotafuta wawakilishi na pia wanapozitafuta nembo za timu zao.
Changamoto zilikuwa mingi, kwanza katika kutengeneza timu, kupata watu katika kabila tofauti ambao wamejitayarisha na wako na zile required documents za kugombea katika kiti cha faculty. Ilikuwa kazi nyingine ngumu sana, lakini tuliangalia katiba, tukasoma vizuri na tukaweza kuidentify key people ambao wanajituma, na lazima pia uangalie mtu ambaye ako willing kufanya kazi kwa wanafunzi.
Hata hivyo, maelekezo haya huwa hayafaidi tu, bali pia huchangia katika kukuza umoja na ujumuishaji katika uongozi wa chuo.
Wakileta mtu ametoka Mombasa, mwingine ametoka Northeastern, wakikuja pamoja huwa wanaleta ideas from their different backgrounds ambayo itasaidia pia wanafunzi na pia kusongeza faculty mbele.
Huku uteuzi wa timu ukiwa umekamilika na joto la uchaguzi kupanda, kundi la timu mahiri sasa zinajipanga zikiandaa mazingira ya sura mpya katika uongozi wa UNSA. Nikiripotia runinga ya UNC, mimi ni Patience Jedida.
An insightful conversation right there on the role of social media in student elections. And as we wrap up for the UNSA Hot Seat, the episode today, I just want to remind each and every student that your vote is your voice. So please make sure that your logins are very accurate, so that once we get to, which is in a couple of days to the election day, please vote. Remember, your vote is your voice. And this has been UNSA Hot Seat. We'll be coming to you next week with another panel of guests. So please keep it UNC Radio, keep it UNC TV. My name is John Omahe, and till next time, see you there.